So you don't want to miss that. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Andy Knode. This had the most terrible dream. I was hallucinating that I never wished you all happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the episode. Hello friends, welcome back to the show. So glad to see you once again. And if you're new here, don't worry, you've jumped in at the right time. This is the show that you've been looking for, where we talk about each and every episode of cartoons that we grew up on when we were kids in the 90s. And right now we're working through a series talking about the new Batman adventures. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then go ahead and hop below and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead, click the like button, thumbs up while you're down there, because we've got some great content coming at you every Tuesday and Thursday. Just like the episode that we have today, Over the Edge, which originally aired on May 23rd, 1998.
Your deepest fear brought to life by the Scarecrow.
Now, this is an episode that I've heard a lot of people talking about in the comment section way back when I was doing the original Batman the Animated Series episodes. And it's an episode that I've personally been excited about, and I know many of you have been excited about, and it's really it's a very unique original story for Batman. It's very local, and it kind of deals with a little bit of an Elseworld kind of element, that we're able to tell a story in the context of what is happening that we wouldn't normally be able to tell. That was really confusing, but it'll make sense, and we'll get into all that right after our 60-second rundown of the episode. Here we go. The police and Gordon are chasing Batman and Robin through the Batcave, and they call him Bruce Wayne, and they're shooting him, and they're trying to take him down, and Batman and Robin are able to escape because Alfred jumps Gordon, and they escape on the Batboat, and they're trying to get away, and then police boats come and follow them, and Nightwing chases after them and shoots them with a torpedo, and the Batboat goes down, and they all get away, and they hide out in this cave, and Nightwing goes, "What happened? I don't even understand," and they go back in a little bit of a flashback to explain what happened, and it was Batman and Robin and Batgirl were all fighting Scarecrow on the top of this building, and Scarecrow knocks Batgirl off. She falls to her death, and while she's laying there, she looks up at Gordon and calls him Dad. He takes her mask off and realizes, oh my gosh, it's my daughter, and she's Batgirl, and he blames Batman for the whole thing, and he sends Batman off on a chase, and we come back to present time, and they are trying to figure out what to do, and meanwhile, Nightwing gets arrested, and Batman sends Tim Drake away, and Gordon gets fired from his job, and so now that he doesn't have a job and he doesn't work for the police force anymore. Wait, there's so much in this episode. There's no way it was going to happen. So while Gordon is arrested and not working for the police department, he hires Bane to go after Batman and to kill him, and they're fighting and dueling and fighting and fighting. And meanwhile, Barbara Gordon wakes up in the Batcave because she has been dreaming the whole thing after being sprayed with some sort of gas from Scarecrow. And then they show Barbara Gordon with Commissioner Gordon, and she tries to tell him who she is, and he brushes her aside.
I'll never forget. I can see it as clearly as my parents' murder.
There really is a lot in this episode, and it's a really interesting story to be able to tell. And like I said, that they're able to do this in a way where they can kill off a main character like Barbara Gordon and have Commissioner Gordon find out who Batman is, and have Dick Grayson get arrested, and all these huge milestone elements happening to this episode, and then kind of explain it away as if it never happened.
Oh, no! She's waking up.
Now, truth be told, I'll skip to the end and say that I'm not typically a big fan of the "and then she woke up" sort of storylines, where they explain it away as it was all just a dream. But I guess it's justified a little bit that she was sprayed with the gas. But there is a great scene that happens after she wakes up because of the dream she had. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But that kind of helps this whole story work in that sense.
You and my father at each other's throats because I was killed without ever telling him about this.
I mean, right from the beginning, it starts off with some great action. Batman and Robin running through the Batcave and being chased by Commissioner Gordon and the police force. And then I think it's one of the first lines.
Bruce Wayne, stop where you are.
I mean, just that was chilling in itself to go, oh, wow, Commissioner Gordon knows who Batman is and is in the Batcave is pretty heavy. I mean, this episode is really, really brutal. And I don't know if this is an episode that they could have told on Fox, because there's certainly a lot of fighting and a lot of blood and a lot of elements that are incorporated in the episode that way. And it deals with death. I mean, that right there, that they really never, that they never really talked much about or couldn't talk much about when they were on the Fox network. Now on the WB, they're able to get away with some of these stories.
She was my daughter. My daughter.
That's as far as you go, murderer.
And also, this episode, and I didn't realize this until I looked it up, marks the first time that Alfred and Commissioner Gordon share a scene together as two of the most important supporting characters in the Batman storyline, and certainly the two closest people to Batman and Bruce Wayne. It's interesting that they've never crossed paths in this series until now. And further is amazing that these two very important allies to Batman and Bruce Wayne, the only time that they share the screen together, they're fighting. I don't know if that was a deliberate decision or that was just by happenstance, but what a great little moment there that heightens that tension in this episode.
No vanishing act this time.
No! And we end the first act of this episode with Batgirl falling to her death, and for Commissioner Gordon to be the first on the scene there to see her and picks her up in his arms. And truly the moment where she calls him dad from behind the mask and he pulls it off to realize that it's his daughter. Not only is he seeing this superhero falling to her death and dying in front of him in his arms, literally, but then to hear her call him dad, wow, that's a powerful scene. Again, one of those scenes that they really pulled no punches in putting that scene out there and letting the emotional weight of that scene carry.
Oh, man.
Lie still. Call an ambulance!
Dad.
Barbara?
It's been talked about in other stories between Commissioner Gordon and Batman that I don't think Commissioner Gordon has put a lot of effort into figuring out who Batman is. Commissioner Gordon has referenced to other people that he doesn't care who Batman is. Batman is doing good for the city and is helping them out, and he kind of turns a blind eye to some of the vigilante things to let Batman do the good that he's doing and doesn't put a lot of effort into figuring it out. And Commissioner Gordon, by his own right, is a very established police officer and detective and could probably figure it out, but doesn't put much effort into it. But it takes an event like this, his daughter being killed by serving and helping Batman, for Commissioner Gordon to do a little bit of research just by getting on his daughter's computer and to figure out Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Like a fool, I allowed you to run wild on your private crusade. A psychotic misfit playing masked hero. Now I've paid for it with Barbara's life.
The police, or Commissioner Gordon specifically, are targeting and going after Batman, and they are the ones, the police being the ones to figure out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. That plot structure in itself would make a fantastic movie, in my opinion. I mean, this whole story would make a great movie, other than the weak ending of it, Then She Woke Up. But the whole structure of, some way of getting the police and Commissioner Gordon to turn on Batman and going after him and knowing his secret identity and sending everybody that he knows in hiding, that's a powerful plot device. And here it is in this one little 22-minute episode. And I think that could be, and maybe could still be, built out to a full feature-length film, whether it be an animated movie or a live-action movie. I think it's just a really powerful story.
You know how I lost my parents. The only way I could hold on to my sanity was to take matters into my own hands.
That makes us even.
And we really don't pull back in this episode. This is actually the first glimpse of the Riddler and Mad Hatter in the New Adventures of Batman. And I know we'll see them coming up here and seeing their new look, so I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that. But it's the first appearance of them and the first appearance of Bane in the New Adventures. And I believe his last appearance. But for Commissioner Gordon, again, going very brutal that I need to stop Batman, who better than the guy that broke his back? Well, I guess in the animated series, he almost broke his back, but still, in either case, a very brutal villain to go up against Batman. Pretty smart move, Gordon.
You hate Batman almost as much as I do. Help me get him and I can strike a deal on your sentence.
So getting back into the end of this episode, as I had mentioned, it's not my favorite writing technique to sum it all up by, oh, and then she woke up. This story would not exist in Batman if they didn't do that. There would be no way, well, I shouldn't say no way, but there's not many obvious ways of killing off Batgirl and having Commissioner Gordon find out who Batman is and chasing after him and trying to kill him using Bane. That story, as interesting and as fun and as powerful as it is, there's not a lot of ways to explain that away or hit the reset button for this not to happen. Time travel, I guess, would be the other way. But so I'm not crazy about that. However, they have a great moment at the end of the episode where Barbara Gordon sits down because of this dream that she had, or this hallucination, I guess it was, that she had because of the Scarecrow gas and the fear of her dad finding out that she's Batgirl with her dying breath, leads her to sit down and have this conversation with him. And again, I love what Commissioner Gordon does in this moment where he brushes it off. He doesn't want her to tell him. And I don't know if that's because he knows secretly in the back of his mind and he doesn't want to believe it or know for sure. But same case where he doesn't really want to know Batman's true identity, that he doesn't want Barbara Gordon to tell him the truth. Or if it's just an element of this father-daughter relationship where he's just saying, I trust you. Do what you need to do. You be you. And don't worry about me. And it's just a really beautiful scene and a nice little bow to put on this episode.
But it's about a job I took on recently.
Barbara, please. Sweetheart, you're capable of making your own decisions. You don't need me to approve or even acknowledge them. And in this case, I can't. All you need to know is I love you. All of you.
So when it comes time to rank this episode, there's a lot of great things about this episode. The whole story structure, having the police chasing after Batman and knowing who he is and killing off a main character, and the emotional weight that carries of everybody dealing with Batgirl's death just makes this episode really strong. And it's such a strong story and it's such a strong plot that I can overlook the personal grievance that I have against the ending of the explanation of all this being it was just a dream. And like I said, just having that tie it together at the end, that now being the end of the episode, and a beautiful little tag father-daughter moment at the end, just really makes this a well-rounded, fully fitted, the kind of episode that I really enjoy watching with Batman. It's got a great story, it's got great heart, it's got great action. And for all those reasons, it falls at the number one spot of my favorite episodes of the new Batman adventures so far. I know we have a whole nother season to go and a few more episodes of this season, but I think it's going to be tough to beat this episode. And I don't know. I'd have to go look back at my original list of my favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series, because this may fall in my top 10 overall episodes of Batman the Animated Series. It's that good. So yes, it does beat out Double Talk. As much as I enjoy Ventriloquist, and I love what they're doing with his character and a true reform episode, I enjoy all those things, but this episode just has so much more going for it. So it does beat Double Talk out. And it also comes to mind that this is surprising for me to rank this episode so high, because it is the main villain in this episode is Scarecrow, although he's not really the motivator of the plot. He's just a device kind of used to tell the story. But I guess it's still a Scarecrow episode.
You have to leave me now. Give yourself up. No one will blame you for what happened.
So let me know, this episode falling at the number 1 spot, do you agree with that ranking? Is that where you would put it in your list of favorite episodes of the New Adventures? And where does it fall on your list of favorite episodes overall? Is it in your top 10 or top 5 of all the Batman episodes? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed my episode today, then please click the like, thumbs up button. If you want to see more episodes like this, then just hit subscribe, because I have new episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday. And next Tuesday, I'll be reviewing the episode Torch Song, which features Firefly, so you don't want to miss that. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Andy Knode. I'll see you next time.